Capricorns, welcome to Keykey's doorway. Let's see what your soulmate wants you to know for October 27th to October 29th, 2018. God, Gaia, God, Goddess, Mother, Father, what does Mr. and Miss Capricorn soulmate want them to know for October 26th to October 27th? October 27th, to October 29th. So something must have happened for them for October 26th, which is in the house of Scorpio, using their second house of Taurus, which is their stability, and the sixth house of Virgo to be more balanced in how they merge their light and dark, their acceptance of themselves and their not so acceptance of themselves. They're bringing that out to light to see how they can merge that. So let's see, Mr. Capricorn, Miss Capricorn. So what is your soulmate want you to know? What actions will Mr. and Miss Capricorn soulmate will be experiencing for October 26th to October 27th? Again, the 26th. Something about the 26th. That's probably when they have awakened or got an insight. Let's see what that insight is. Mr. and Miss Capricorns. Now I'm getting captivated on what's going on with them. Let's see. Just like Taurus, just like Scorpio. Whenever you get a chance, Mr. and Miss Capricorn, check out Taurus and Scorpio's reading for October 27th to October 29th. Your soulmate, Mr. Capricorn, is tapping into their high priest or priestess side of themselves. They are known healers. They are teachers. It's in their family tree. Maybe their family tree has pastors, ministers, massage therapists, a counselor, therapist, psychologist, any occupation that requires, I'm getting ministry a lot. Ministry, spiritual practices, and how they have learned this was having their family tree go through physical changes, whether it be where physically their body was going through hardships and they needed to find a remedy. So they started to tap into their high priest and priestess side of themselves and started to understand what teas, herbs, spices to cook with to help them. Whether it be in knowing about how to keep a strong faith. Again, in your family tree, Mr. Capricorns, or in your soulmate's family tree, they have spiritual teachers, spiritual healers, ministers, psychiatrists, acupuncturists, the arts that help heal the masses. That's what you are, and that's how you and your soulmate has met in the past lives. Whether it be through priesthood, whether you were once also a monk and nun, and this is in other countries. Like monk and nun is not just Christianity. You also see monks and nuns in Asian cultures. You see monk and nuns in Eastern cultures. It is the color of their robe that tells you the significance of who they are spiritually. So again, if you're concerned about their upbringing being different than your own, chances are it's not. It might have a different name, but its origin is the same, because both of you hold a sacred knowledge of practicing, teaching, and healing others. So that's what makes your soul and theirs align together, Mr. Capricorn. Miss Capricorn, again, this matches with the masculine and feminine. Female Capricorns, your soulmate is releasing any phobias they have of tapping into their spiritual practices. Because again, just like this woman here, she could just be a regular woman in clothing, praying, and just being concerned about what's going on in her life. Or we could see this as she's fearful of her faith and how her faith might not be of the faith of her community. For example, what if she is a Christian, but her friends and family are Catholic? Now, from an outsider looking in, you would think, okay, they're still worshiping or acknowledging Jesus as the Son and Source as the Father. However, how they interpret it is based on their religion. So she might, in this picture, be concerned about her religions being a problem or a key element of conflict with her lover, and she's praying on how she can merge the two religions, or see that these two religions or these two different spiritual practices are actually the same. I have a right hand and a left hand and a right hand. Yes, these hands by direction is different, but by body, it is an arm and arm. It's just an arm and a hand. It's what we use these entitlements or these references as, which causes the conflict. So, female Capricorns, your soulmate is releasing those phobias. It's releasing those hard judgments of spirituality, of religion, of sexuality, of sensuality, of how a man's supposed to be, or even how a woman's supposed to be. Anything that they consider something against the grain of their upbringing, they're releasing that and seeing that everybody's upbringing has a similarity. It has to have a basic and a fundamental to anything. And that's what they're looking at as the core rather than anything else right now. Even with you, female Capricorns, you're thinking about that as well. Of how to release those phobias or those fears of looking at yourself, or looking at religion, or looking at spirituality, or looking at how you think you're supposed to be living, or how you're supposed to be acting, or how you're supposed to have money, or how you're supposed to have these. You're releasing it and saying, what really resonates with my soul? What really resonates with how I view myself, how I see myself, how I see my spiritual self, how I see my religious self, how I see myself through sensuality and sexuality, and how that does in fact tie into my spiritual practices, and how you're going to align them as a whole and not just parts of the pie. How your partner will be executing that, or not executing, but exercising that. Executing, we don't want them to execute, but exercise these practices is by acknowledging that they're going through a change. 5 is the number of change, because 4, I have 2 here and I have 2 on that side. It's balanced, but that next one doesn't have a pair yet. And this pair, this not having a pair, makes us concerned. It gives us this, it makes us feel this imbalance while we're making changes. And we're seeing that, oh, that second pair is actually us as the individual playing out what our soul wants to do. So even though this 6th one is not there, the 6th one is here. It is you. You are that one before any other number comes. Even the 0 has to acknowledge that it is a being to birth out the other numbers. That's what your soulmate is realizing and going through. That they want to communicate their changes. That they want to not fight against the change, but align them together. So when they think that their choices are unwise, they're going to tap into their intuition, to their high priest and priestess side of themselves, and see that, okay, I have a conflict. However, this conflict has a core that can create the core of the cure. How can I figure that out? So they're going to start meditating. They're going to look at the 5 dimensions of who they are and start to rally them up from 1 to 5. This in itself is a way of how they're learning what they can from the situation. They look at the 5 aspects of themselves, their 5 emotions, maybe their 5 energy, maybe their 5 ways of confrontation, maybe their 5 ways of handling fear. Anything that they want to really communicate or is in their hearts to communicate, they're going to look at it face to face and figure out how to make a collection and not see it as a chaos. They're reviewing everyone's motives, and before they review everyone's motives, they're seeing everyone's motives is within them. You can tell when someone's lying because you, in fact, had to lie in our lives, right? Every child, every being had to know what lying meant by lying, right? So if someone that you love, that you care about, was lying about their feelings, you could tell because we all have experienced those elements of lying. You understood why you had to lie. You understood what emotions did it take for you to lie. You understood exactly who you were lying to in regards to saving their feelings or using certain words to sedate or soothe the scenario. Now you're seeing how your soulmate is seeing Mr. Capricorns on how to not dismiss things anymore, but figure out a direction or a course to correlate each of their dimensions of who they are into one. I mean, in order to be next to a Capricorn, you better know who you are. In the tarot card, that's the Satan card. That's like the Godfather. And if you don't know who yourself is, you might get off. And they don't want that. So they're reviewing their motives first. Even you. Miss Capricorns, your soulmate is unlocking what is that acorn? What is that seed that promotes phobias in their lives? What is that one seed within them that makes them think of particular things in their lives as a phobia? Because anything that we look at can be a phobia, but what is it particular things that we make as phobias comes from an origin within us, comes from an origin even of our past lives or our DNA, even of our family tree. Earth, material, the pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, they're going to be blessed with a new offer, a new opportunity, a new way to look at phobias as an element to propel and push them forward to prosperity. A promising business venture, like was said, like was felt in my mind's eye through Mr. and Ms. Capricorn's energy and their soulmate's energy. They will be able to use their phobias as prosperity. Because, again, everyone has phobias on everything and anything. From them doing their homework on phobias, their own phobias, for them finding out the origins in which their phobias come from, would give them a healing key factor of how to not just sedate it, but surrender to it, to soothe it, to create a soil around it, to create it in a whole organic element in its own. So important documents or contracts going to come to them because people are understanding that, again, your soulmate is very captivating, just like you, Miss Capricorn. And they're realizing how they could use their captivation to create a capital and a currency for them. Whenever you get a chance, Mr. and Miss Capricorns, look at Pisces soulmate October 27th, October 29th reading. That can give you a hint on maybe a blueprint of how you can physically go about it as well, or have that mental state of direction. Masculine Capricorns, your soulmate is becoming that knight of air. Again, they're going to communicate what they believe in, how they believe, what they know and why they believe it. And they're going to use their intellect They're going to lose their intelligence. Air is all about the ether. It's all about the worldly knowledge. And they're seeing how learning in school, learning through their parents, learning through their spiritual upbringing, learning through their religious upbringing, learning through their spiritual investigation and their religious investigation of who they are. And they're becoming very decisive of how they want to demonstrate their ideas. Even if this is you, Mr. Capricorns, you're thinking about how to tie in who you truly are to the way you communicate. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options, Mr. Capricorns, because that's what your soulmate is doing. And they're using their creative approach. They're using their creativity to find that cure, to find that correlation. Miss Capricorns, your soulmate is unlocking the star quality in themselves. They have gotten that ace, that acorn, that seed of our opportunity. They realize that they have to go within the house of Scorpio. Yes, they're going to have that Libra house, which is the 7th house, of being very balanced in their quest. However, they're going to definitely know that they're unknown about themselves, which is, it's unknown to everybody else, but to them they know. They're going to bring that out and use that as a template or a manuscript of how to move forward in their lives in happy times, making positive decisions, staying optimistic, having long-term plans. Both you and your soulmate, Miss Capricorns, are on the right track. So Mr. and Miss Capricorns, notice this, and know this, that your soulmate is captivated by you. Captivated so much to understand what makes them fearful and how to make their fears into a lucrative foundation. They know that you will respect and understand why they have to do this. Because you are Capricorns. You are the mothers and the fathers of the zodiac. So you know that this direction that they're heading to will feel scary, will feel a little dangerous to them. But know that your energy and your emotions will give them the extra push or the extra senses to use as signals to go forward in their success. I love you, Mr. and Miss Capricorns. We will see you on the other side.